There are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like to study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then just, Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, a huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about conspiracies. Don't you go first?
What's this with that silence?
Oh, yeah. Aren't you the first one to speak, though?
Not usually.
All right, no.
My name is Luke.
Oh, no, because
I'm salty.
I got confused because he sits across from me. And now you're sitting across from me.
No.
I don't know people's names. I just know where they sit in relation to me.
You know them directionally.
Yeah, where's Robbo?
Well, I don't know. He's claiming that he's busy.
Yeah. Robbo, famously unemployed. Right? A man of leisure. Fun employed, I think he calls it.
Yeah.
And then he's only gone and got himself multiple jobs.
Yeah. Suddenly, too busy.
He claims he's doing a conference?
Some sort of conference, yeah.
A beer conference.
Yep.
Robbo, if you don't mind, pull the other one. Hey, this one's done being pulled.
How much work can there really be in a beer conference?
Yeah.
You go to a bar.
Yeah.
The beer's already there. Some chairs. People sit around and conference.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I call it just going to the pub.
Yeah. Yeah.
Salty, it's just you and me today.
It is. Let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of the best episodes ever.
So, we've got two topics on the agenda. 5G.
Yeah.
And six-fingered presidents. Well, one six-fingered president.
Yeah.
Shall we start with the six-fingered president?
Yeah. Let me get to my notes. So, Polydactyly.
Yep.
Polydactyly,
yeah.
I think is what it's called.
I was hoping that you'd know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Basically, when someone has more than the normal amount of digits.
On their hands or on their toes.
Yeah.
Or feet.
Yeah.
Hexadactyly is like specifically to have 6, though.
Okay.
It's like,
just why?
Yeah, why do you have to be special?
Why not? Is it not pentadactyl?
I guess if you've got
5.
If you've got 6 on one hand.
That's normal. 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about if you've got weirdo with 5? Shouldn't that have its own name? Oh no, that's just standard.
Showing you the Anyway.
Yeah, I don't bloody subscribe to normal standards of beauty, mate.
No. So, 6 fingers.
Yes. Now this stemmed from a portrait, right?
Yeah.
It's the official White House portrait of Obama, yeah?
Yeah. By the artist Kehinde Wiley.
Now, I'm glad you wrote their name down because I didn't. I don't know. Like, when you like the 6-fingered thing and I looked it up and I looked at the painting, I was like, that's just not a great painting. Well, it's a good painting, but that's not a great tiny piece of anatomy.
Yeah. All right. So, before we get onto the hand thing, there were actually 2 separate conservative conspiracies about this portrait.
Okay.
And Robbo has come to us with a 6-fingered one where I feel like it's more in our wheelhouse to discuss the other one, which is that there was a minor controversy about whether there was secret sperm painted onto Obama.
On his head.
Yeah.
So the artist is known for this, right?
Yeah.
The artist is a pretty controversial. Would you say they're controversial?
It's slightly controversial.
Yeah, in that a lot of their artwork has like hidden jizz in it and like I think they were asked about a few of their paintings that had like real strong black women holding white women's heads.
Yeah.
And their response was, it's just like a take on the whole kill whitey thing.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, ugh.
Yeah. That's not what like Fox News wanted to hear.
Yeah, no. So
that's exactly what they wanted to hear.
Yeah. So that's how far did people run with that?
It stopped pretty soon after it started. Like I think Sean Hannity put out a tweet about it,
right?
But then had to like retract it later that day, and he was like, "Oh, my team put up a tweet that I hadn't cleared,"
right?
Because it turned out it's all just started on 4chan, where they're like, "How good is this? The official Obama portrait guy is the sperm guy,
right?
And like, check out this weird like vein on his forehead." Let's just say it's sperm.
Yeah. If you outline it,
yeah,
and make it lighter, it's a little sperm.
So that didn't last very long. I feel like the finger thing has lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So as I saw one sort of conspiracy YouTuber say, Tom Binns, if he was doing the painting, he said, if I screwed up the hand, I'd start over.
Yeah.
I would just leave it in. And I had to say I agreed with that.
Yeah. As the resident artist of Hypothepod, I probably would too.
Yeah.
But there is also, in saying that, when you, like, sometimes you just don't see things until way later. And you go, oh, fuck, that's weird.
Yeah.
That drew like that. Or a lot of the times I'll do a drawing and way later someone will go, oh, dude, you put that in it. And I'm like, what? And I look and just a couple of lines have intersected in a way that I hadn't realised when I did it. And you see later, oh, it has got a dick in it or whatever, you know? So I can understand them painting it and going, like, they might have had a photo reference because it is a quite photorealistic looking thing.
I think we should explain what you see in the painting.
Yeah.
It's not like you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So Obama's standing in front of like a leafy bush.
Yeah, sitting on a chair.
Yeah. And he's got like his arms crossed.
Yeah.
And on one of his hands, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's like just a tiny little line going around behind one of his fingers, behind his little finger, right?
Look, that's the heel of your hand, right?
Yeah.
Where the heel of your hand is, if you push it, you can see that it pushes up into like a little...
Yeah, little ridge. Little bump.
Ridge. And yeah, it kind of... I think what it's got going against it is that it does go down to the edge of his hand and look kind of like it terminates like a finger.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's clearly not.
Well, it could be. But if it is a sixth finger, he's hiding it behind the rest of his fingers.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you do that with your hand, put your little finger under your ring finger, it does kind of... You can see that would be a thing.
It's subtle. The stupidest thing is... Like, the dumbest conspiracies I saw about this were, like, the sort of mainstream right-wing conspiracies. They were so dumb. They're like, we looked at photos of Obama's hands and we couldn't see a six figure. It's like, fuck, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's
you know why you can't see it there? Not there.
Yeah. It's like, what did you think you were going to find? Just no one had noticed this.
I've never noticed this before.
Because I feel like you could say there's an actual, like, what this Tom Binns guy and a few other people I saw hooked onto was maybe the artist has painted in a six finger on purpose as like an occult nod.
Yeah.
Because six fingers has got some connotations.
Yeah.
So
it's biblical, mate.
It is biblical. Samuel 21:20. In still another battle which took place at Gath, there was a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. 24 in all. Yeah, thanks to the Bible.
Thanks to the counting lesson.
The
one that I read, the version of that I read said 4 and 20 in total. And I was like, my dumb maths brain went, wait, but 6, 6, 6 and 6. 4 sixes isn't 20. What do you mean 4 and 20? 4 and 20 that doesn't go. Fucking dumbass maths. And I was like, oh no, they mean 4 plus 20. It's like, don't say things like that.
Have you seen the trailer for Netflix's new teen film tall girl.
No.
It's about like a really tall girl.
Right.
And I thought that they said she was 6 foot and a half.
Right.
Which I was like, all right, that's quite tall.
Yeah.
I can understand why she's being bullied and why she feels persecuted.
Mm-hmm.
But I rewatched the trailer. She's actually said she's 6'1.5".
Right.
She's hardly tall at all.
That's average. Well, that's average male height, right?
Yeah.
Is it 6 foot?
Yeah, about that. Get over it. Take up netball. So this bloke, this huge man with his 6 fingers on each hand, is descended from Rapha. So the full context of this is like a brother of Goliath,
right?
Who was also a famous giantman, and who was slain by David.
So these are referred to as the men of stature, right? In the Bible.
Now this guy, this other bloke at Gath, so he got killed by like David's brother.
Right. Bloody giant killing brothers.
Well, here's the thing, right? There's like 4 of these giants that are all like related to this Rapha guy. Yep. So there's Goliath, there's this guy, and there's a couple others. They all got killed by like family members of David. It's like, isn't the story supposed to be that like these huge big blokes, like domineering tyrant giants, and little David, taking on Goliath. It's like, hang on, who killed the other one's entire family?
Yeah, who's the dick here?
Yeah.
It's the whole Karate Kid thing where, like, Daniel's son is actually the asshole of that story.
Yeah. Just food for thought.
Yeah. Whose family wiped out the other family?
Yeah. Who were supposedly giants.
Right.
Also, I was reading about how, like, Goliath had this huge spear with an iron tip, which gave him a technological advantage over the Israelites because they didn't have iron weapons.
Right.
It's like, well, fucking copy it.
Yeah.
It's like, you can see him strutting about town with this huge thing. It's not that hard to... It's just a bit of iron on a stick.
Yeah.
It's not hard to copy. Come on, Israelites, get it together.
Yeah.
Anyway, just food for thought. What I've found really annoying about Samuel 21:20 is if you also read Chronicles 26... which goes, in still another battle, which took place at Gath, there was a huge man with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, 24 in all. He also was descended from Rapha. It's the exact same bit.
They copied and pasted themselves.
Yeah. Get an editor, God. I was like looking at why this is, and they're like, oh, Samuel and Chronicles take place at the same time. It's like, no, this is the same stuff.
They're not doing like a movie thing where you just kind of overlap scenes. Like Pulp Fiction, where you see the diner scene at the start and you see it again later on. It's a little bit different.
I think they're trying to claim that. Right. It's like, change the wording up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think they probably even had those sort of storytelling bloody motifs back then anyway.
No, we had to wait for the 90s for that. So, so this is the Goliath and co are descended from Rapha. So this is where the Nephilim come in. So they were supposedly descended from Nephilim, who we've discussed before when the angels came down to Earth.
Yep.
I watched one YouTube video where it was like this bald, gap-toothed, tweaker-looking guy was describing how the Nephilim came to be. He's like, yeah, these angels came down and they made it with the women.
Made it.
They made it. What did they make?
They went parking.
Yeah. Yeah, after going steady... Like, these women are not hussies.
No.
But I also saw a thing, not to slut shame people's mums who got 6 fingers, but I saw on one website, they're like, we're not saying people with 6 fingers are evil.
Yeah.
We're just saying their mums might have, had something to
Made it with some Nephilim.
Made it with some Nephilim. It's like, all right, steady on.
I've read the same page. But that also linked it to alien abductions and how all that like religion and aliens is all connected, and alien abductions is just bloody the Nephilim and the evil whatever at work. Do we have any research on whether Obama's mum was a suspected UFO abductee?
No, I don't know. I don't know if we do.
About Obama's dad. Big fella?
Surely they would have had to... Like, if his dad was a Nephilim, that surely would have kept him from being president, right? So if that information was out there, they would have found it.
It would be out there, yeah. That whole Nephilim thing went on to like someone talking about the weaponization of satanic powers and all sorts of stuff, like military leaders and mill science being invaded and demons looking over their shoulder and all that kind of stuff. And I think that, I don't know if this was all written at the time when like Obama was in power and people thought he was going to just fucking
I think it must have been
run and take over everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, he's gone. He's just
gone.
He's gone. So the weaponization of Nephilim blood. Did they find the Aryan pure blood? The blood with the genetics of the demon gods?
Oh.
It's like, I got to stop reading this webpage. A weird thing I saw written about the portrait on this one thing was the person wrote, why does one of the back legs of the chair he's sitting on look broken?
Oh.
And I looked at it and I was like, doesn't. And they're like, or is this famous painter, I did write their name down, just incompetent at perspective? I was like, oh, just trashing this artist. But it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I looked at it and I traced the direction of both back legs and they're both in line with each other. Obama's leg does sit at an odd angle to that leg. So, it can, if you look at it at a glance, yeah, it might look like that leg's weirdly angled, but it's fine.
Yeah.
There was a thing about mentioning that the look of his portrait, because it's very, very different to all the other presidential portraits. There's basically all flowers behind him. There's like two former North Korean dictators' official portraits look exactly the same. It's like they're in chairs with like these massive flowery backgrounds. And people are like, what's that saying? What's this bloody artist trying to say?
Well, it's like the artist could just be doing a bit.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's what he meant to do.
Yeah. Same with the sperm.
Yeah. Well, so the thing with the biblical thing about the six fingers is that there's this idea that people with six fingers are, somehow more than human.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a whole bunch of paintings that have got people with six fingers in it. Jan van Scorel's Adam and Eve from 1540.
Right.
Adam has got an extra finger.
Okay.
And it's like definitely an extra finger.
Definitely a finger.
It's not like a little trick of the light or anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a bunch of other paintings and statues and things. Like Nimrod in the Bible is often depicted with six fingers.
Right.
It's just supposed to be like saying, all right, this person's like slightly more than human.
So I found a bunch of stuff about South American cultures. So there's ancient people of the Pueblo culture of Chaco Canyon.
Yep.
You got them? So anyone who was born there, like they had a significant amount of people, I think. It was a regular thing that someone would be born with an extra finger. And those people were like, whoa, that guy. Bloody, that guy's got it going on.
Yeah.
And they were like sort of, what's the word? I wrote down a word.
Revered
in the community. They weren't, so there was some cultures like the Mayans that thought people like that were divine. These guys just thought they were fucking sick.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's got an extra finger.
Yeah.
His finger banging's probably like amazing.
Yeah. Bloody, his shocker.
He shreds on the axe.
Yeah. Bloody imagine fucking his tapping and his solos.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there was another tribe in Ecuador, same thing. Like, people who had six fingers were like, fucking, you guys are great.
I did see there was one tribe somewhere where they're like, almost everyone had six fingers, and they're like, this was the most murderous tribe.
Yeah, the super violent ones. Yeah, that's I got them down here too. The Warani tribe of Ecuador.
Yeah,
it's like they were normal people with six fingers, super violent.
Yeah,
50% of all deaths, murders.
I don't know.
I don't know if you're going to link that to it.
Yeah.
But they're the people that also had no traces of like heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, allergies. They had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing but just murder.
It's like maybe because they're getting murdered before they can develop any of these issues.
This is probably true. Or They're like, our population's going nuts because we don't have any natural diseases or anything that's knocking us off.
Yeah.
We got to start murdering some people. It's the original Logan's Run.
Did you see that Soccerman the other day?
I don't know.
I can't remember his name. He's like a older English footballer, but I think he might be originally French, perhaps.
Right.
But he was accepting an award, and I wish I could remember his name. Eric Cantona.
Oh, okay. Yeah, something like that.
He was accepting an award, and they said, "What's going through your mind right now?" And he says, "Well,
as flies to wanton boys, we are for the gods. They kill us for the sport. Soon the science will not only be able to slow down the aging of the cells, soon the science will fix the cells to the state. And so we will become eternal. Only accidents, crimes, wars will still kill us. But unfortunately, crimes and wars will multiply. I love football."
well, they did ask him what was on his mind.
Far out. That's one of those things, maybe just say, "Oh, it's really great to get this honour," or whatever he was getting.
He was just being honest.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, another thing about the portrait, freakishly large hands. They are pretty big.
They're big, but I mean, compare them to the current. Are we just comparing with the current one?
Yeah. Fuck. Trumpy's little hands. Have you ever met someone with quite small hands?
My hand, I've got big hands.
Yeah, same.
Everyone's got small hands to me.
Yeah, but like proper small hands. I used to know a guy. I won't name any names. But
Robbo?
No, it wasn't Robbo. Yeah, he had legitimately small hands, and when I shook his hand, because it was a thing, like whenever I'd see him shake hands, it was like a thing that was happening at the time. Everyone was shaking hands. I don't know what the deal with that was.
Yeah, a little handshaking thing.
Yeah. This was in Brisbane. Usually at gigs.
Yeah.
Shake hands, and just his hand was so small that it felt really weird. Felt almost creepy shaking his hand, because it felt like a little kid's hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm shaking. Why am I shaking a child's hand in this pub?" And he was a weirdo. He was a real legit weirdo guy.
Can I just say, while that we have control of the podcast and Robbo can't cut anything, we had a running joke like the first 60 episodes of this podcast, like in every episode, that Robbo's got like these tiny little shiny hands. And he just had to cut it out of every episode.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any control now.
No. Robbo, tiny shiny hands.
So, I mean, I also saw that like there's cave paintings where people have drawn six fingers on the hands.
Mm-hmm. I think some of those tribes used to adorn their like houses with prints of six-fingered hands as well. Like maybe it was like a good omen.
Yeah.
Someone with six fingers had been in your house.
I did think it was sort of funny. I just thought of like someone doing a cave painting, like a caveman doing a cave painting and them fucking it up.
Yeah.
And like Og and Grog are like, "You stuffed it up, you put an extra finger on, dickhead." And the painter's like, yeah, all right, yuck it up, boys. No one else is ever going to know about this.
Yeah.
And then thousands of years later, we're like, wow,
6 fingers.
that's really symbolic. But I know, I'm like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years later, Grug, I'm laughing at you. I know you fucked that up. I did go down a little tiny aside rabbit hole of heaps of like cave paintings have missing fingers and things.
Right.
And they're like, why is that? And they're like, maybe they just they're like, maybe these people chop their fingers off. And they're like, they chop them off as like a sacrifice.
Wow.
And they're like, it could be like a shared thing that a bunch of people do together. They'll do a big finger chop.
Yeah.
And then someone else was like, maybe they're just like, they've got a knuckle down because they're like doing a hand gesture in the thing.
Right. Yeah.
Not everyone's chopping their fingers off all the time.
Maybe it was one of their like ancient gang signs.
Yeah.
And half a finger on that finger.
There was also a bunch of like giants apparently dug up around the place that had extra fingers.
I saw a photo of one of them.
Yeah.
Which kind of looked like a statue.
Yeah, I found interesting about all of these giants where there were photos of them was at the end of every story about them was then the giant went missing. Yep. we lost. It's like
somehow it went missing.
How did you lose it? It's huge.
Yep.
And yeah, definitely taking advantage of the fact that it's like the 1920s or 1895 or whatever, and we can't take a proper photo.
Yeah, everything looks shit.
Yeah, get an iPhone X in there and you'll be like, that's a statue.
And the photo's fucking GPS tagged, so we know exactly where it is.
Yeah. One of the other things about this was there was like only a few articles about it, but like in the comments of a bunch of them, they're like, yeah, famous people always have 6 fingers.
Do they?
I don't think that's true. Oh, I did find one list of like 11 celebrities that have like 11 fingers. And it was like on a site that was dedicated to making lists of 11 things.
Right.
It's like, what is this website? But Drew Carey.
Yeah, I read that. But they're like, we don't know if he's just joking or not.
Yeah. Oprah.
Right.
The thing was Maria Sharapova.
Yeah.
There's heaps of them, but they're all like, they all had the extra finger chopped off when they were a kid.
Right.
So, well, don't put them on the list.
Yeah, no.
Surely you can rustle up 11 celebrities who've still got 6 fingers.
Mm. Did you watch Justified?
No.
Fuck, he was really good in that. Like, really good.
I can't believe I started recording just after I said
I wouldn't kill for that cunt.
I wouldn't kill for Doctor Who. Anyway. All right. Let's come back in now.
Yeah, so.
All right. Let's talk about 5G.
Yep.
This is the topic that's on the top of everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Because they're bloody boiling our brains in it.
Yeah, so when's it launching here? You can buy 5G phones now.
Yeah, but the 5G ready phones, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not here yet.
Yeah.
And aren't we getting like a shithouse version of 5G as well?
I don't know.
They're like it's technically the next generation of Gs.
Right.
But I don't think it's exactly the same as what they're getting elsewhere.
Okay. Because 5G, when you read about 5G rolling out in other places and what they're going to do, they need to put lots of towers out, right?
Yeah, it's like every 250 meters.
Yeah. They need... It's because it's a high frequency thing they're sending out, but it's not necessarily very strong.
Yeah, so... All right, we're going to talk about 5G now.
Yeah.
Which is a big controversial topic at the moment. There's a lot of conspiracy theories ranging from like the basic bitch to it's completely cooked.
Mm.
Yeah, it's, your phone.
Yeah.
It's got a G. You're on the 4G.
Yep.
When you're out in the country, you get knocked down to 3G.
Yep.
That's my understanding of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be you'd get down to 2G. They turned 2G off.
So 5G, yeah, they've looked at like higher frequencies than they were using for phones before.
Mm. And the problem was that we had a traditional spectrum of radio waves that was being used for telecommunications from whatever to whatever hertz. And it was quite full of stuff. And it's like, well, we need to do something about this. So they've extended it up, right?
Yeah.
So this is how they've kind of... A lot of stuff runs on the normal radio wave things, including radio, TV, digital broadcast, all that kind of stuff. Slows everything down. You can't have that much running over slow radio waves because it works by cycles per second. You go up, you go down. You go up, you go down. And you can only send information over that
at the speed that
things going up and down. So when you overload that with so much shit, it starts going, well, I'm only taking this bit now. Up, down, and up. Give me the next bit. Up, down, up. And that's why your internet's shit.
Yeah.
Because it's too slow. The radio wave's too slow. So radio waves are good at traveling and penetrating structures, but they're shit at carrying a lot of stuff at once. Yeah. So 5G is upping the gigahertz that they're running the waves at. Lets us send way more stuff way more fast.
Yeah.
Essentially, right?
I think you nailed it.
Yeah. But what's it doing to us?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, stuff already gets done on those frequencies.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
higher.
Which is also a controversy.
Yeah.
Because apparently, like, a lot of weather tracking is done at that sort of frequency.
Right.
And they're like, if you start running Netflix through this, or Fortnite or whatever, it's like, we're not going to know how much rain there is.
So, I had a really good fucking diagram. Where did it go? I'm not going to be able to find it now. No, I'm not going to be able to find it. But I basically found a chart that had free radio waves from 0 hertz to whatever it goes up to. Massive, like past ultraviolet hertz. And it was like telephones, computers, the human body, a microwave, oven, and a bunch of stuff.
Colour TVs.
TVs. Things that sat within...
Yeah, your money for nothing.
Your money for nothing, yeah. You got to install those microwave ovens. And all of that stuff runs over and emits a certain amount of radio waves on a certain frequency, and we're exposed to it every single day.
Yeah.
Right now, we're sitting here. My MacBook's pumping out radio waves. These microphones are probably pumping out radio waves. We're on the 10th floor of a building, right at bloody the height of where shit's probably flying around.
Yeah. Is that how it works? Everything's in the sky?
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Well, the power poles are quite high. They're not 10 stories high, so maybe we're good. Maybe we're above the most of it. But essentially, yeah, they're taking the radio waves that are not necessarily traditionally being used for telecommunications and utilizing them with this new technology to give us faster internet and mobile phones.
Which means we won't be getting fragged by some bloody kid in Korea anymore.
That's right. Your ping's going to be off the charts. Good in a good way.
Yeah.
But why are people scared, Cam?
All right, so I guess the thing you mentioned, well, I think this is maybe one of the main things that sort of freaks people out, is that in the States definitely, and in the UK, I think places where maybe they're doing it a bit fancier than we're going to get.
Right.
They do have to put up base stations like every couple 100 meters because, it's a high frequency and it's harder for it to get through buildings.
Yep.
Can't get through trees and shit. So they've got to put up these repeater stations everywhere. I think that it's like we've discussed, like when we did our chemtrails episode, like people started freaking out when they could see more contrails.
Yep.
I think people see new things. They're like, oh, I've got a headache. I didn't have a headache before I saw the new thing.
Yeah. Must be the new thing.
Yeah. I went to Dr. Carl. So people think that it's basically, it's going to give us all cancer. It's going to make us all infertile.
Yeah.
I think the most basic version of this is, we don't know the health risks. Yeah. It's going to give us all cancer.
Radio waves give you cancer. But the full-on basic bitch thing is radio waves give you cancer. Why are we having more of them? We're going to get more cancer.
So I went to Dr. Carl.
Yep.
For this.
He's my go-to as well.
I trust Dr. Carl. I got this from a Dr. Carl Mamma Mia podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Where someone from the mum blog website Mamma Mia got Dr. Carl on the line.
The mums will be concerned about this.
Well, apparently, because there was like, it sounded like from what I was hearing on the Mamma Mia podcast, it seemed like there was like a viral video going around mum Facebook about like the dangers of 5G and also like accusing the Australian like radiation authority of being like shills for the telephone industry.
Yep.
So my feeling is though, like if there is some sort of like Illuminati conspiracy, or like the CIA is like planting pro 5G stories, they're not going to bother with Mamma Mia.
No.
Like that's just natural.
Yeah.
That hasn't been planted. No one's planting Carl Krasinski on the Mamma Mia podcast. That just happened.
Yeah.
So I trust it. But yeah, they were going through like all of the claims made in this mum conspiracy video.
Yeah.
Which I will say wasn't a mum's making the conspiracies. It was just some dude trying to freak out mums.
Yeah.
It's like, don't freak out our mums.
No. You've got a mum.
Yeah.
Dickhead. Would you freak your own mum out? It takes quite an asshole of a troll to freak your own mum out.
I think he probably would freak his own mum out. I'm sure this bloke has some okay intentions. I'm sure his belief is sincere.
Yeah.
But don't freak out me, mum.
No.
So they put all these claims to Dr. Carl. So there's all of these, like, in this video, like, there's like this study and this study and this study and this study. And as Dr. Carl notes to Mrs. Mamma Mia, it's not Mia Friedman, some other Mamma Mia person, but he's like, the problem is they can knock all that out in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And now we have to spend the next 10 minutes like unpacking all of these studies. But basically it came down to...
The BAF factor.
Yeah, exactly. The
Bulldust asymmetry factor.
Yeah. For like every second someone can make a
false claim,
you've got to spend like 20 times as long correcting it. So basically what it all boiled down to, I think Dr. Carl's main argument is that they've put out these videos saying that 5G has caused all of these people to get cancer, and they haven't rolled it out yet.
Yeah, it's not a thing yet.
Yeah. So
unless the people in the telecommunication labs have all developed a massive cancer cluster, there's no way to test this.
And then if you had, as a telephone scientist, you're like, everyone in our lab has gotten cancer, wouldn't you be like, all right, let's just press pause on this for a second?
Yeah.
For one thing, we've all got to go to the doctor. And the other thing was they had all of these studies about how they tested out radio waves and these frequencies, and they found that they caused cancer in rats.
Yep.
But in the studies, they had like 100 rats or something. They blasted them like all day, every day for their entire lives with like high density radiation. A bunch of the rats got cancer, but in the like control group, all of the rats died faster than in the group where they were blasting them with the radiation.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, they weren't even sure if the radiation had caused the cancer at all, because the ones that weren't being blasted with it still got cancer.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this, scientist, you might want to revisit your rat policies. Apparently, when they're doing cancer studies with rats, they use these specific rats that they've bred to get cancer. They're like
more likely to get cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they just get sometimes they just get cancer anyway, but they've bred them to be like always get cancer.
And are these dodgy labs?
No,
like, is this a dodgy lab that's like, you want us to prove something causes cancer? We've got these rats, probably 90% chance they're going to get cancer anyway. Let us fucking wave your thing in front of their face. If they get cancer, you can say that it caused cancer in rats.
I think it might be legit.
Right.
Like, if you want to like see if something causes cancer, you don't want to get a bunch of like super cancer resistant rats. And you test it out and they're all like, we're fine.
You just want normal rats.
Well, because like in normal people, like some people are more likely to, due to genetics, are more likely to get cancer than other people. So if you're testing whether something gives you cancer, you're probably better to test it on
just a random sample of rats, right?
Well, I don't know. I guess if you want to find out if something gives you cancer, you test it on a bunch of cancer rats. And you're like, all right.
If you want to find out quickly, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, chances are in a couple of days, these are going to get cancer anyway.
Yeah.
Blast them.
I reckon blast the cancer rats, and then come back and do it again with normal rats.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd work. Poor bloody rats.
Yeah.
I just feel sorry for the rats.
But yeah, so it doesn't seem like a bunch of the rats got cancer, but it doesn't seem like the radiation really had that much to do with it.
Yeah. So did you get into much of the ionizing versus non-ionizing radiation?
Tell me all about it, Salty.
So there's two types of ionizing radiation, right? Non and ionizing. Ionizing radiation has the ability to knock electrons off of molecules, turning them into ions, and some radiation just can't do it.
Yeah.
On a spectrum...
Cuck radiation.
Yeah. On a spectrum of 0 to a fucking billion megahertz or whatever.
Yeah.
You have all this stuff that we can't see, and then you have the spectrum of visual light.
Yep.
Which is the rainbow of fucking colours that make up the world.
Yep.
The highest frequency being violet, which is why we have ultraviolet light, which is
just a little bit more than
anything above that.
Okay.
Violet and upwards, or no, past violet upwards is ultraviolet.
Yeah.
Anything above ultraviolet light is ionizing radiation and can cause damage to cells.
Yeah.
So anything above ultraviolet can give you cancer because it fucks up your DNA basically.
UV.
Yeah, UV. That's why you don't go in the sun and fucking soak it up.
Oh. Even on a cloudy day.
Yeah.
Put your hat on.
You can't take any chances. The whole thing of like, go to the beach when it's windy. I got windburn. No, you didn't. You got sunburn.
Yeah.
You can still get sunburned, dickhead.
Slip, guys.
Yeah. So anything above that level of thing. Now, the amount of gigahertz that is.
Imagine if Robbo was here.
Oh, mate.
Oh, we went to the beach all the time at Westport, windy Westport. Got so much windburn.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. Got a little bit of windburn.
Got some windburn because I'm a ranger. I mean, as a redheaded person myself,
that's all right.
I burn pretty easy. So the level of radiation that makes up ionizing radiation is 30 million gigahertz. That's the frequency. 30 million gigahertz.
Yeah.
And upwards will cause cancer. 5G will work at 6 gigahertz and
Right.
24 gigahertz.
Right.
A little bit shy of 30 million gigahertz.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
So the radio frequencies, 5G, maximum 24 gigahertz. I think that's here. I think overseas it goes up to 95 gigahertz.
Yeah. I think there's different, it's different in different places. So in some places, I think we're higher than some places are.
Right.
Some places have gotten like super freaked.
Yeah.
By this stuff.
And they've legislated, right? The total amount you can expose people to.
Yeah. So I think we are going to go a bit higher than some other countries, but there might be other countries that go a bit higher than us still.
Right. And then
what's violet at? What hertz is that at?
Just under 30 million. So 29 million violet.
Oh, right.
30 million ultraviolet. Over 30 million is like ionizing radiation.
We're talking about down on 6.
Yeah.
This is below colours.
This is below anything. Yeah. This is below being able to see anything.
All right.
This is like radio level.
Yeah, okay.
So one thing that people were freaking out about was, I think in America mostly, I think they come out and said, this is going to work from 6 gigahertz up to 95 gigahertz. And someone found out or realized that, you know, those like crowd dispersal things they have, that they blast people with radio waves and it makes them feel uncomfortable and like their skin's getting hot, is like 96 gigahertz. It's like the next one up. And I think that's why I think people were like, it's like 1 gigahertz away from fucking boiling our skin.
Yeah.
So no, I think that works in a different way. It's a different type of radiation. It's like some other thing.
Isn't there still also like a whole bunch of hertz between in a gigahertz?
Yeah, a giga, 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fair bit.
It's a fair bit of hertz.
And it's not, I don't think like it's a thing where they're going to have these boxes up on power poles every 250 meters. And if someone accidentally knocks the dial and it goes up 1 gigahertz, everyone's just going to boil in their skin on the street.
No.
So, yeah. If we're looking at it in terms of what level of gigahertz does radiation have to be, or radio waves have to be at before it becomes dangerous to our genetic makeup, we're falling
well short of
it. Like, well short of it.
I will say though, just don't put that dial on it at all.
No.
Don't have an option to accidentally go up to boiling.
Yeah. And if you're going to, don't make it like go from 0 to like 29 million.
Yeah.
Don't let it go to 30.
No.
And we'll be fine. We might just like, you might bump it and it'll go, and then everything will suddenly look color tinted red.
Yeah.
Because you're blasting the world with the visual spectrum of red. That'd be kind of fun though.
Yeah.
Just sit there going, woo, 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 all different colours. People would be tripping out. It'd be great. Another thing was, apparently 5G, part of the panic and fear is that the World Health Organization classified radio waves as being potentially carcinogenic. Because potentially, but it's like, it's important to understand that in perspective, also on that list is pickles and aloe vera. People be rubbing that shit on their face directly.
Yeah.
So everything gives you cancer. Fucking just
relax.
Live.
Yeah, just have a dart. Don't have a dart. Do you know like a pack of cigarettes is $50 or something now?
Crazy.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Let's not take up smoking.
No. I've never been a smoker, so
take up vaping.
There's no like point of reference for me there.
Someone at my work has started vaping custard flavoured vape.
Right.
It really makes me want to take up vaping. Imagine just being able to... You still can't smoke at your desk. That doesn't seem right.
Right. It's just vapor, mate.
It's vapor. It's just
not
custard.
Ciggies.
It's like if I boiled custard at my desk,
it'd be all right.
I'd be allowed to inhale the steam, wouldn't I, HR? I could cool your jets.
That's pretty funny.
So, the 5G.
Yes.
Yeah.
What else is it going to do to the world, Cam?
It's going to let the demons in.
Oh. Why didn't they fucking get demon rats?
So,
I feel like we've mentioned this once before, right?
Yeah, we talked about this guy before, Richie from Boston. I thought I'll check out what people are saying about 5G and demons, and I was like, oh, heaps of people are talking about it, but almost every video would have like a clip from the FCC of some guy talking about the frequencies, and then they would just cut to a Richie from Boston video. Right. So this is the guy. I think when we last checked in on him, maybe this was like when they were first starting talking about 5G, but he was onto this about Wi-Fi as well.
Right.
Pretty much any like radio wave that's like floating around, he's a bit worried that Satan's going to use it to get in. And his other thing is chemtrails.
Right.
But specifically the combination of chemtrails and the Wi-Fi and the 5G. So he reckons they've been pumping nanoparticulates into the air, all of these different metals, through the chemtrails for decades and decades. And then what is Wi-Fi? What is 5G? It's just electricity being passed through the air. And what's going to happen
It's not going to activate them, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's going to activate the nanoparticulates that they've been shooting around. They don't even need to whack a bloody chip into you. You've been breathing this shit in.
Yeah, you've been inhaling the chips.
Yeah, you're heading down to the Genius Bar and getting them to turn it on for you. But then he's a bit grumpy about Wi-Fi and 5G, but also found that he's not even keen on electricity at all.
Right.
So he had like a bunch of like circuitry boards that he'd found pictures of.
Right.
And he's like, have a look at these circuit boards. This stuff's in everything. Doesn't this look like demonic sigils to you?
Right.
And I was like, well, yeah, in the sense that you've found some alphabet of demonic sigils where it's like every combination of lines and circles and things. I'm sure at some point you'll be able to mash it up with a circuit board. But he also noted who was the bloke that discovered electricity? Old Benny Franklin.
Yep.
With his sigil-shaped key that he took out.
Yep.
That was the first demon coming through his sigil.
He flew it on a kite, right?
Yeah.
Kite, so just a big bloody cross.
Exactly.
It's another sigil.
So he's not happy about it. I saw a video about the Mandela effect.
Right.
Especially as it relates to utility poles, which I think is where they're whacking a lot of these things onto. But this wasn't even about that. This was just like, had pictures of some utility poles and it was like, utility poles, they're changing. They're huge.
Right.
They're all different. I guess it was just like some, I don't know. You know how some utility poles have like a transformer thing? They've got like the circles coming, like discs coming in. Like that's a sort of standard utility pole, but it's not on every one of them.
No, you have one of those usually every certain amount because it needs to repeat or help the electricity along its way.
But they were freaking out over those ones. Like, I don't know if they have changed. Maybe you're just not spending enough time. You're not spending enough time looking up. Maybe if there were more dickheads in your town, riding on the ground, look up. Like, thanks for that, guys.
Have you ever heard of a Stobie pole?
I have. Is that an Adelaide thing?
Yeah, it's a South Australian thing. The power poles in South Australia, are real. I think they're specific to South Australia. And they're like 2 I-beams of steel with a concrete core. So if you crash into them...
Doesn't do anything.
It's fucked. Like, you're fucked because it's like a giant steel concrete beam. It's not like a wooden pole or just like a metal cylinder that'll bend or break.
Yeah.
They fuck shit up. I think they were designed by a guy called Stobie.
Yeah.
So I refer... I've occasionally referred to things as Stobie poles and people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, okay.
I've heard of Stobie poles. I also found... the other thing is like no other species on the planet has created a reverse Faraday cage the way that we have. It's like, if you're in a Faraday cage, you're like protected from all of the radiation or all the radio waves or whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as a society, we've like created this situation where we've got more radio waves than ever floating around us.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but we're the only species that's got the fucking radio.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure if lemurs could DJ, they would be enjoying fine radio waves as well.
Yeah.
And we'd have an even bigger problem because we'd be competing for those sweet FM bloody
with the fucking lemurs.
Bandwidth. Yeah.
We're lucky that the chimps who use like a stick to get ants out of a hole haven't developed that stick into any sort of fucking radio wave using electronic device.
Yeah. Come on, Richie from Boston. I also found... I watched a little bit of Stache Erickson,
right?
Who she used to do a lot of tarot readings, but she's noted since they've started rolling out the 5G, which I don't think they've rolled it out enough for this to be a thing, but since they started rolling out the 5G, they've been doing a lot more exorcisms.
Oh,
it's like, you need to stop doing exorcisms. You're not qualified for this.
For starters, you need an old priest and a young priest.
Well, you know how like... The Catholics have got like their exorcist guys, who are even these like guys who are trained to do this, and what they're doing, let's remember, is like throwing water on mentally ill people.
Yeah,
even those guys who train to do it, half the time they're killing the person, right? As a YouTube tarot reader, you're not qualified to be exercising anyone. Just leave it to the professionals. It was just more of the same, but she did say at one point, the smartphone is basically a black mirror. It's like, yeah, that's the point of Black Mirror.
So speaking on things similarly esoteric and what's the word for it? Occultish? I come across a forum called the Satanic Group for Health and Wellbeing.
I did wonder about this because you said about how you went on a satanic health forum.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is this the health sub-forum of the Satanic forum, or is this a specifically satanic health forum?
It's a forum on another webpage. I can't remember what the main webpage was, but this sub-forum was the Satanic Group for Health and Wellbeing.
Okay. Did they then have further sub-forums within that?
I didn't actually look. Okay. I just found this one thread and got quite involved with it. So it started off with one user who was talking about 5G coming in and how it's hard enough with 4G.
Yeah.
It's hard enough with everything going on in the world. And...
Well, take that with the bloody head priest. Take it up with Anton LaVey. Because you're the ones doing it, guys.
Yeah. So this guy went on about how he's got... what was the fucking thing he said? Hang on, I wrote it down. He goes, I think my black Tourmaline grid in my house is helping.
Yep.
That's helping a bit. And he said black Tourmaline / selenite grid is helping. I looked that up. And basically that's where you get these crystals.
Yep.
and you do a little cleansing ritual, and then you program the crystals with what you want them to protect you from, and then you put them in the four corners of your house, and then you get the black tourmaline, put them in the corners of your house, and then you get a dragon eye crystal, put it near your front door.
Yeah.
And that protects you from whatever you tell the crystals to protect you against. So this guy's obviously bloody programmed them to protect him from 5G and all the...
Or he's programming them to protect him from 4G. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Do I need to get another set of crystals from 5G?
Another one or what?
It's like planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
It's like how your phone always starts running slow just before the next one comes out.
Yeah.
It's like just before the next G comes out, all my crystals are fucking on the fritz.
He needed to do bloody dodgy record deal thing and go, I need this to protect me from 4G and any other future Gs that are going to be developed here or anywhere in the universe. And then put them out and he's set.
Yeah.
So he's doing that. He also bought a couple of devices. One was just a simple plug-in-the-wall thing, and another one was another sort of device, but they cost him like hundreds of dollars, like $350.
Devices you plug into the wall?
Yeah.
That sounds like something that would give off radiation.
Well, that's the thing. It's supposed to help negate it.
Oh.
It's how it's supposed to help. It puts out some fucking opposing force that drives away the bad shit. In the meantime, people are going, hey, 5G can't penetrate walls, just stay inside.
Yep.
But this guy's like, no.
Like, this should be a problem anyway, right?
Yeah. So he's going on about all these devices. He opens one of them up. He's like, look, this place has got a money back return policy if you're not satisfied. So I'm not too worried about spending the hundreds of dollars. He's like, but then I went and I cracked it open and I had to break it to open it. So I'm not going to get my money back.
No.
Anyway, here's what it looks like inside. And it's a little circuit board with like a 555 chip on it, which is like a repeating chip or something. Anyway, someone posts and goes, yeah, there's not a lot to that circuit. I think basically what that circuit does is make an LED light blink. That's all it is. A little case with a blinking light you plug in the wall, and this guy's like, well, I've probably been had then, haven't I?
Oh, it depends what sigil is on the circuit.
But he did report back later saying that he felt that he was a bit more powerful since having this device in his house.
There you go.
So these guys are fully into like their energy and aura and stuff. And the thread got quite cooked. One, after talking about 5G for a little bit, one user chimed in with, so if I may ask, the Jews are employing this 5G to harm people covertly or what?
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, okay, here's a little can of worms I wasn't expecting. Or I should have been expecting.
You should have.
Another user then goes on to point out, look, the point that I'm trying to communicate here is that these things, radio waves, have been around as long as people have been around. And yet, the one group of people, these guys, who are aware of their auras and know how to reflect the energy of an enemy the size of the Jews, are concerned about buying electronic devices to protect themselves because they're not advanced enough. And he goes on to say they should be fucking concentrating more on just building their auras and their inner power to fucking deflect the 5G badness.
Yeah.
Instead of buying trinkets. These Jews, if you want to beat the Jews and their radio waves, you fucking got to get on it. Anyway, the guy who comes back later and says he tried it out and felt more powerful. He said, so... From what I've gathered so far, your aura is your first and best line of defense against 5G.
But
empower and clean it daily. Second to this, layers of protection like crystal grids and orgones help.
Yep.
I thought, well, he's dropped an orgone there. He's got some orgone rocks hanging out. But the best you can do ultimately is to just avoid and stay away from them. However, if you can't... Now, this is written capital letter, small letter, capital letter, small letter, capital letter, small letter.
Right.
And then when I looked it up, it's actually 4 words.
Yep.
It's Satanama, and it's a type of meditation.
Yep.
It's a yoga thing. And I'm wondering if these Satan guys have picked up on it just because it says Satan.
Yep.
It says Satan Ma.
Yep.
Satanama will heal any accumulated damage that the 5G does. And just don't worry about it. It's like, not only are we working towards annihilating the enemy...
obviously.
but their attempts to destroy us will backfire spectacularly. The general population is more aware of the enemy now than ever, and it grows every day. So basically, these Satanists got all wild up about it, and then they were like, no, we can just defeat it with our bloody auras.
Yeah, and if not, some yoga. And if the yoga doesn't work, we can always roll for extra health.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you reckon over at proper Satanic Luciferian Conspiracy HQ, there's someone who's like, no, we're the one, why are these Satan guys putting so much energy into defeating this?
Yeah.
This is our thing.
This is our thing. Why are they giving the Jews all the credit?
Yeah. And also, maybe we could dial in the auras, guys, because we're trying to hit people with this shit.
Yeah. Stop giving away the secrets of how to defeat it. How are we going to activate all these bloody nanobots?
Yeah.
If everyone's auras are too strong. But yeah, that meditation is like a classic technique in Kundalini yoga. It's taught by Yogi Bhajan. It's like intended to bring total mental balance and clears the subconscious mind of traumas and negative, unnecessary emotions.
Fair enough.
You just chant those things over and over again. Good on you. Do it. Probably make you feel good. I don't know if it'll help you build up some sort of power to defeat 5G.
Yeah.
Or the Jews.
Yeah. Also, don't complain if your bloody Netflix is always buffering. If you're constantly yogaing the 5G out of your house.
If you're wondering why you can't watch Mindhunter very well,
yeah,
it's because you fucking just lay off the chance for a while.
Yeah.
Take the Dragon Eye Stone away from your door just to take your grid down.
Yeah, at least for long enough to catch bloody Damon Harriman's masterful performance as Charles Manson.
What a performance. So,
do we have any more on 5G?
I don't have any more.
Not to be really unprofessional and to vindicate all of Robbo's bloody doubts about how this would go.
Yeah.
I did forget to say about the six-finger Obama.
Right.
I got a little bit pilled on the painting thing.
Okay.
On the idea that maybe he had put in that extra sneaky finger as like a little nod to like saying, oh, Obama's going to be like the most powerful president or something. Because he does I did see a few people noted that he does occasionally put a little esoteric stuff into his paintings. And he also, a lot of his paintings like based on sort of biblical paintings or like those sort of old things where it's like, all right, maybe he would be taking like a little note from old Jan Van Scorrel's Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing. Yeah, another thing I read as well was someone commented and said, what an idiot. They painted his hand backwards. And they just thought that was his thumb tucked under his hand. And the hand was just, he painted the right hand on the left arm. But the wedding ring's on the right finger, so that doesn't make any sense.
At the end of the day, hands are hard.
Yeah.
So you should have just put them in his pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have solved everything.
Salty, people can find us at hypothepod.com.
Yeah.
Hypothetical Institute.
Cookedunits.com for some merch.
And
hook yourself up with a t-shirt.
We're on Patreon. Thank you to Tammy, our special $33 sponsor.
Thank you, Tammy.
But a bunch of you on there, and we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I sent out a message, by the way, if you haven't gotten a badge yet.
Yeah, there's a few people looks like have missed out on their buttons and badges.
We got the buttons.
Yeah,
they're at Salty's old house.
Yeah, we've got everything. We just need to make sure you've got it.
Yeah, so flick me a reply to that message if you haven't gotten your button yet. Because there's just a couple that have snuck through.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame Robbo for it.
No.
I'm not going to blame... While he's not here, I'm not going to say Robbo was sort of in charge of that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Let's not blame him, but especially because all the stuff's in my possession.
Salty, where can they find you, mate?
They can find me at Saltmarsh on Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram's off the chain at the moment. I'm posting a lot of content, so go check it out.
Got a little fade from, was it Dave Navarro?
Dave Navarro liked and followed me.
Oh, follow.
Got a follow. He's a bloody champion. It's a Dave Navarro guitar right there. You can check out Toe Hider on Patreon. If you want to find Robbo, even though he's not here, Ale of a Time.
Yeah, just look up Ale of a Time on anything. It's like a joke, like a pun on Whale of a Time.
Yeah, Ale of a Time. Also, we found out if you Google search craft beer dorks, Robbo's one of the top results. So just look for that.
Yeah, just look up Craft Beer Dog. You can find me at Sexenheimer on Twitter. Gather around me on iTunes for my other podcast. Which hopefully I'm going to go see Itch soon with Ben, and we'll do a little recap of that.
I read a review of that today.
Yeah, did they say it was good?
They said it was...
Was it better than the original 1990 Itch Part 2?
Well, they said it was... Was there a Part 2 to that?
Well, it was a 2-part.
Oh, yeah. Every time I've watched it in one
4-hour go.
Yeah. It said that it forgot that it was supposed to be a horror movie.
Oh, no.
It's supposed to be quite goofy with a few scares.
Oh.
So, yeah, there you go.
That's good. Well, I'm going to go see it with Ben and his small children.
Okay.
So that's good, because I don't want to get...
They won't be too scared.
Well, I don't want to be scared in front of the kids.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. I said don't worry about a thing, except maybe the fluoride in our water supply contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. I accept you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing, except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing, except Donald Trump is clearly a woman and you're just blind if you can't see that. Why don't you open your eyes?